Hey, welcome. In this video we will be discussing repotting and perhaps restyling this tree. This tree is a nursery stock juniper that I'm showing a little photo of it in the inset, and it's a tree that I decided to simply remove most of the tree and leave only one branch and build the entire tree out of one branch. The original styling of this tree was perhaps the front that you're seeing now, somewhere here. One of the mistakes that I made in this styling is the fact that I'm not showing the live vein. Only showing the live vein would not be interesting, but showing part of it together with the dead wood, the interplay between them would be quite interesting. Because I killed a large section of the root system, or rather of the live vein, by means of creating dead wood, and because the roots in junipers are linearly attached to the live vein, all the roots that are associated with all this section of the live vein or the tree are unnecessary. I have roots here that are necessary, and all the section here in the root system is also unnecessary. So I have only one slim live vein feeding this little guy here, and I have then this live vein that comes to this branch, and that is it. This will continue to increase with the years, and this too, and so it will create sort of a more flat appearance to this. The idea is to use this spot, this lotus spot, which is very small compared to what it was, where it was before, but considering that I would say 40 to 50% of the root system is no longer necessary, perhaps it can fit on this spot. Once we look at the roots, we will be able to decide exactly, or maybe it has to go on a bigger pot. This tree is coming out easily. I'm holding from the dead wood, although this is a juniper and I like to remove the bark, so it's not a big deal to hold from the bark. But if this was very much attached to the tree, I would have to use a kuma. This tree has been in this pot for a few years, and there's quite a bit of roots, but all of these roots here should be dead. If I scratch them, they should be brown simply, and yeah, they are all dead. So in this area here I can be very rootless. You can see how much the root system grew in this mixture of shabazai, diatomaceous earth, and pumice. It's quite interesting to see.
Even when when the road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you. Even when the road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you.
This is one of those cases where you have a tree going, a nursery stock tree, and it is growing in a nursery, just uppots it, and it, because it's a juniper, it created roots higher up, but actually originally you had a much lower nebari here, so you have several layers. Now I have to decide if I want to cut this root and go for a nebari lower down, or this is the depth that I can go, because here on this side you can see that the nebari is much lower than on this side. We have at least 2 centimeters difference. All of this was covered in soil, so we gotta decide what to do. So if we compare the color of this root, this is a yellow brown, and if we go to a live root somewhere here, this is a much brighter color. So it's clear that this root is alive, whereas this one here is not. I'm going to work the roots a little more, and I want to remove a few of these bigger things, like this one here. It doesn't have any small roots attached to it. I just am concerned that this is much lower than this, so if I can decrease a little bit and remove at least this big chunk here, whether alive or not. These are live roots, but I believe that we can do without them. It's just the nebari is way too high.
Even when the road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you.
I will cut this one here, and I will cut all this here. So for this I'll use my concave cutter, and I'll cut one at a time. Just want to make sure I don't cut anything I want to keep.
The road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you.
Okay, so this is the result of the repot. At first I thought that it would not fit on this pot, which was my original idea, but as it turned out, there were roots that I thought were part of the nebari coming from here, from this point, that I then realized that there were sufficient roots underneath that I could cut this, and they were right at the edge. So at most I will lose this little branch, which is a nice touch, but it's not essential for the design. But otherwise I was able to decrease considerably the height of the root system to make it fit here. So this I extended the line of the dead wood here, the live vein, sorry, this side here, no, this side here, no, this side here. The live vein, my left, still shows up here, one of them, and the other one is here. So we sort of see two live veins coming, splitting with a huge shari. And let me give you a 360. This was a repot in which I removed perhaps 30% of the living roots, and as I mentioned, there were plenty of roots on the sides where there was dead wood already that were not necessary. Now, as I removed this, I created a very slight, almost imperceptible section of inverse taper. If this is something that bothers me too much, I will simply put a rock here, or maybe decrease the dead wood here to minimize the effect. The foliage on this juniper, which is a garden juniper that you buy in garden centers, is not the best. It is a running juniper, and I'm letting it run a little bit before it starts mounding, then I can cut back. But it's a very coarse type of foliage, and I'm not sure if it definitely doesn't fit the size of this tree, but I don't know if this type of material is worth the cost of procuring shimpako, for example, to graft into it. But it is a possibility, at least as a learning experience. For now, this tree will be left to grow. I will not touch it the entire season. I will be very careful with the balance of water and oxygen, but I think it will be easier to keep the proper balance now, because I removed a lot of the garden soil that was still there and a lot of the dead roots. So now, in fact, on a smaller container with smaller amount of unusable roots as compared to what I had before, it will be perhaps a much healthier environment for this tree than where it was last year, since August, when I styled it. We will see how it develops. We will see if I did any mistake and something that I shouldn't have cut was cut. It's a risk, and it's part of our journey, our learning experience in bonsai. For now, I only painted it with white gouache ink mixed with sumi ink, and this is just to let it look a little nicer for this video, to give you an idea of what it should look like. But I'm letting the wood age and deteriorate on its own, and eventually I will start protecting it with lime sulfur, which at the same time will also produce this static effect of whitening it. But for now, I just want to whiten it and let it age with the elements as it rains outside, and bacteria and fungi and whatnot is in the air. So I thought that perhaps we would have a change of front, but at the end this front was the best because of the potential inverse taper. This was actually the one that minimized it, or its effect, or maximized the size of the base, in my view. But this is only one more step in the development of this tree. So I hope this was interesting. For any details about repotting and the theory, there is a video of a live stream that I did a few weeks ago or a few days ago, depending on when this video is published, and this gives you a lot of information about the theory and the practice, and the how, when, and why to repot. So as of now, for now, this tree is in a pot that is, I would say, perfect for the size of the trunk, and this tree will never get much bigger than this. But if this tree ends up living for as long as it could, this live vein will start increasing on both sides here. So it will be quite an interesting flat ribbon that will start developing, because the deadwood part will not change, of course. So this tree can only go this way. In any case, this is something for many years, but we will see how it develops. And until the next one, bye bye for now.